Welcome, everybody, to Psychics, Mediums, and Mystics, a MindBodySpirit.fm podcast network event. I'm Diane Ray, co-founder of MindBodySpirit.fm, and I'm so happy to welcome everybody. It's been a minute since we've done one of these live streams, and Tina and I, the co-founder of the network, we've really wanted to feature some of our amazing podcasters and what they do. And we have such incredibly talented people on the network that this is just one way to share their gifts and their talents with you. So today, I'm very excited to welcome a very special podcaster on the network, Rachel Corpus, and she's the host of Angel Talk. And Rachel actually was the very first podcaster to join us on the network. And we've been so happy to watch her grow and expand her teachings and to also grow with us as a network. So we've been able to watch her grow as we've been growing. And it's been really exciting to see. So Rachel is an amazing talent. She's an angel incarnate. And we're going to explain what that means, a channel and a psychic medium. And Rachel has served as a bridge between worlds, collaborating with angels, spirit, and loved ones for more than 2 decades. So she's also able to share messages from loved ones on the other side, as well as ascended beings and high vibrational extraterrestrial intelligence. So she's going to show us how she works today and share some messages with some participants that we have waiting backstage here. So I'm excited to get started with this. So Rachel, welcome. Thank you so much for doing this today.
Thank you. I always say yes to your great ideas that you and Tina have. So always on board, always a yes.
Well, we're excited to have everybody see you do this and for you to share your gifts. So I guess, first of all, maybe tell people a little bit about your work as an angel incarnate, and then maybe explain the kind of messages that you're going to be sharing today.
Sure. Well, I really delight in this because the way I see it, I've been doing this my whole life, but I did it secretly for so long. As so many people who are intuitive will, fold this within when they don't feel like it's acceptable or safe. And so for the past, I don't know, 15 years or so, I've been able to do it full time and really live into it. So throughout that time, and throughout my life, I've been practicing with the angels and spirit, God, on how to do this, how to receive messages and share them gently, ethically, authentically, without, changing the message. And what you'll see tonight is how I get to receive those messages with my eyes open. I don't go into a trance or anything. I'm going into a different brainwave. When I was little, I just assumed I was spacing out. Well, now I can do that without leaving the conversation totally. So I'm just utilizing a different brainwave. I will not always make eye contact because I'm sometimes looking above my computer screen, because above I can see what I think some people call it upsight vision these days, where you can see the honeycomb of the matrix. You can sometimes see data forms and it will look like hieroglyphics or pictures or different colors, depending on what it's not necessarily their auric field, but I think it's part of that. But it's their data, it's their pre-life choices, their other lifetimes, and it shows up as words or symbols. I get to read that for people. It helps answer their questions and also integrate with their helpers, who can be their angels, who are their non-human helpers, not necessarily religious, but have not been human before, were assigned to them when they were created, their family and friends who have passed, ascended masters who could be like Jesus, Buddha, Kuan Yin, Mary, the archangels, some that are like the heavy hitters, Michael, Raphael, and some that are not as famous. They'll step in. Extraterrestrials, which, a few years ago might have blown our minds, but we're kind of getting used to it now. Animals who have passed. We just get to remain open to who the helpers are. And what I do is I just keep my nervousness down. I keep my ego out of the way, and I just relay the message. And the angel thing sounds like a big deal, but it's really not, because we're all from somewhere on earth. Everybody's from somewhere. And when I was 4, my family was hit by a drunk driver, and I had my first near-death experience. And what I remember from that, honestly, it could have just been head trauma, seriously. But my experience that I remember was being taken to the other side and being told that I was a seraphim angel and being given the choice to stay there and serve or to come back to earth and serve. And they were very clear about my mission, and it was to help people remember that they have gifts like this and they're not separate from God. So that's what I've devoted my life to. So here we
To
are.
help us remember that we're not separate from source.
Yeah. Yeah, and that sounds kind of lofty, but really what it means is that when we are kind to ourselves, and we're kind to each other, we start to remember why we're here, which is really not to struggle, not to be poor, not to be sick, but to live good, honest lives. And that the belief systems that we've been told and started to believe, things like, if you want to know God, you have to go through a pastor first. Or if you want sins to be forgiven, you need to pay for those sins. That goes into like old church a long time ago. Or if you want to be smart, you have to pass these levels of school. School's a tool and it's wonderful, but also you have everything you need already within you. Earth is here to enhance, but it's not to take place of source. So we get to help each other remember that.
Well, this is going to be exciting to see because we talked a little bit before the broadcast. And really, so when your antenna goes up or when you open yourself up to, these source beings, which could be, a past loved one,
who knows?
An angel, whatever, I guess. Yeah, who knows? Like, so once you open yourself up to these messages, then you're just going to share with the participant, whatever comes through. I mean, earlier, did you prepare earlier today for this?
I took a nap. I had a few clients. I did a little writing, and then I took a little cat nap. I didn't rest well because my mind was already active, but no. And I like to, when I prepare for clients, which I will do sometimes, the way I prepare is I will just look at their first name or feel their first name and sit in their energy. But that's my only way of preparing because I really don't want to know too much going in. Because I feel if I spend too much time, I honestly feel like I'm going to project into it. So That's the only thing. The only time I prepare is if their family members or their angels visit me ahead of time. And that does happen. But today it didn't. They kept it fresh. I think because they want us just to have fun.
Well, we're going to jump in, and I'm excited to hear what you're sharing. And I just want to throw out there too, if people are watching and they want to be a part of any future broadcasts that we have, Psychics, Mediums, and Mystics, just shoot us an email at info@mindbodyspirit.fm, and you could be a participant on one of these broadcasts as well. And, just to reiterate what Rachel was saying, like nobody's been prepped. You don't know anything that anyone's going to ask. What the participant wants to know. And obviously you don't know ahead of time, what message is going to come through. So this is all going to be fresh. So let's bring our first participant up here and chat with Angela. And thanks for joining us today, Angela.
Thank you.
Hi, Angela. How can I help you today?
I'm just interested in a couple aspects of where my life might be going and whether there is any guardian angels or people that that you feel around me, like spirit guides or people that have passed. I'm just curious to see if there's another life connection or something of that sort.
Of course. May I ask you a follow-up question?
Sure.
Do you enjoy talking to spirit around you, connecting to your parents on the other side? And is there
Always.
Okay, because they say that they really enjoy hearing you talk to them out loud. And wonder if you can hear them respond back. Has that been successful?
It has, off and on. I was visiting the cemetery a week and a half ago, and I felt their presence, and I felt that they were communicating with me.
Okay. It appears that one of your intuitive gifts, because we all have them, one of yours is clairaudience. So you have the ability to hear from spirit. And you are guided from your angels, your non-human helpers, to really be in charge of how you want to experience that. Now, in in other times of your life, this lifetime, and likely other lifetimes, but they're talking about this lifetime, you were really mindful of your mental health because you have really wanted to take good care of your family and your community and your friends. And so you really wanted to stay on top of that, knowing that people around you would be struggling. So what they have done for you is they've really stayed in their lane. So when they talk to you, they're using your voice. So you're not hearing voices in your head. So even though you have this clairaudient ability, your parents, your angels, your ancestors, your team talking to you, they're filtering through the sound of your voice.
Mm.
So if you want that to expand and you want to hear dad, you want to hear mom chuckle, you want to hear dad, because you know what dad's going to say. Dad is still using his phrases. He's got his dad jokes. So sometimes you know how dad is going to respond, but it's still your voice. If you want to change that, let them know.
Mm.
Tell them you're okay with it. And then sometimes I'm getting the feeling that when you're in the right, I'm going to use the word frequency, like when you are at the cemetery, that has a different feel than your living room. It's just set up different. When you're in your living room and you're listening to a song, that has a different feeling than when you're not. Your living room feels different at Christmas than it does at Halloween or just on a regular Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
There's different times that you're going to feel your family than other times. So they're saying, figure out when you can feel us more. If your dad was a morning person, maybe then for dad. Mom likes to watch TV with you.
Mm-hmm.
So, practice talking to them then and simply invite them. Okay, this is a good time for you to talk to me. Either let me hear you in the room, make a noise, or make a noise with your voice. You might not hear the whole word, but they're working on it. Talk in my head, move something in the room, make the light bulb make a tingy sound. But they're practicing too, because you're gifted, I can feel it, but they are too, but they're working on it from a different density,
Right.
different place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then life direction, sister, what would you like me to look at for that?
I would love to see where my life will be in the next year or two. I'm 64 and still working full time, and I just want to see, what that's going to look like for me in the next year or two.
So then permission to look into your future timeline?
Yes.
Do you understand that when we do that the future is fluid and can change?
Yes.
And they're also going to want me to ask you, do you understand that you're really the one that creates your future?
Yes, of course.
Okay, great. Then that'll give us access. So you're stopping work, they're saying that it's got to be your decision. There's no injury coming, and there's no layoff coming. There is, because what you coded in, what you wrote into your blueprint was safe money, abundant money coming without end. So you have to look at it from the place of positivity. Look, you built a structure here where you're going to be employed as long as you want. And then when you decide it's done, that money's still going to be coming.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's flip that coin. Because you wrote that in and you've maintained it so well, you also have to be the one who decides to go in that breaker box and gently turn the switch off. Mm-hmm. That breaker box is still going to have energy running through it. All those breakers are still going to be there, but that one breaker in charge of your day job needs to be gently turned off. So the rest of them, all that energy can go to the other breakers, they said. Think of it more like graduation and not retirement, because it's going to amplify your health, your brain, your energy. I'm not being shown an identity crisis. Mm-hmm. I'm not being shown what happened, I think, to your dad's dad, which was like blood heart issues after he retired because he didn't know what to do with himself. Mm-hmm. It's not you, but you are going to have to make a choice. This looks like it is about 13 months from now.
Oh.
Okay. And mom says, don't tell them too early. Mm. They're good people, but they're not quite. Mm-hmm. They're good people. They have their head in the business, so they want, mom and dad want you to be celebrated at the end. And if they know too early, it's just going to change the feeling around there.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. 13 months.
Okay.
Mhm. Thank you so much for being
Thank
part
you.
of this. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Take good care.
Thanks, Angela. Wow, that's so interesting, Rachel, when you're able to look into someone's future. Is it kind of like, I'm thinking of the movie or the story, A Christmas Carol, when it's kind of shadows or of a future that might happen if you don't change something now in the present. You just kind of
Yeah.
get those feelings of what might happen.
Yeah, that's correct. And it depends on the person. If they are a visual learner, it will show up as pictures. If they are more of a writer, it will show up as text. If they have made a lot of decisions already, or if they've been dreaming about something their whole life, a lot of it will show up. If they are not a good decision maker or they're in fear, I won't see very much. Some people will have 5 possibilities, and their angels will say, this one, tell them about this one, tell them caution about this one. So it just depends on the person. But I always have to ask them, in order for me to gain access, I have to ask them those 2 questions. Do you know that the future is fluid? And do you believe that you are the one creating it with God or with Source? If I don't get those right answers, I can't go in.
Right. Okay. No, that's interesting. Okay,
Mhm.
let's see what Spirit has to say for Marcella and bring her on. Thanks for joining us,
Hello,
Marcella.
Marcella.
Rachel. Hello, Diane.
Hi.
How can we help you tonight?
Okay, well, some clarity would be really helpful. I had this amazing experience where I did finally meet my spirit guides. Well, I didn't meet them, I felt them. And it was interesting after the disclosure movie. There was some things that happened that led me to leaning into that more and listening to
Well, I would say
frequency.
you met them.
Yes, I did, but that was the first time that I actually felt them. I felt their hands on my shoulders. So I've met them. I speak to my ancestors. I hear them, but kind of like what you said before, in my own voice. Haven't really felt which angel is around me. And I guess that is my question for today is which part of my spirit team, even if it's angels I have not met yet or I'm not familiar with, is going to lead me into my next expansion of projects that I am doing with the consulting to impact women.
Are you working with part of the homeless community, women who are finding their feet after 30 days?
Not after 30 days, but after midlife.
Oh, okay. So this big transition. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Because you did that?
Yes.
Or, okay. Okay. So first of all, you have Archangel Azrael, who has stepped in to help you. And Azrael is saying a funny message here, an interesting message saying, I am here as the Archangel of Change. And I come in to help her because she's ballsy. Azrael is often the Archangel of Death, but is like, I don't want to be mismarketed here. I can do more. Don't put me in a corner. Don't peg me here. I'm here because since there's no real death, I really am brought in for the change. And Azrael is, angels really aren't gendered, I'm told by them. Azrael will feel mostly male, but in this instance is really dressed like Cher. Yeah, dressed to the nines and all this like black shiny leather and smells like amber, vanilla. Okay. And he says, I've been brought in to bring balance because many of your guides are extraterrestrial. And they are, now Rachel asking, do you want me to see who, I don't want to step on anything you want to find out yourself. Do you want me to see who those extraterrestrial?
Yes, please. I give you permission.
Extraterrestrial, I can't say it. Extraterrestrial ancestors or guides are. Okay. I'm going to ask them. Because this would mean that you have lived with them before you've been on that planet. So I just want to be really clear about that. So we have Azrael, and I'm just going to tell you what I see. Azrael is opening a beautiful, it's like a file, and it's made of gold, and you have birth certificates in there and passports and things from where you've been as you traveled in other lifetimes. He's taken me to the very first one. So you would have had your spark of life created with Source, as we all have, and then your first life experience. I'm going to check it with my dowsing rods. It's Andromeda. You are Andromedan. So this is more of I want to call them elders, but they do not seem old to me. Maybe it's because they don't age there. And then the being you saw at the end of the movie is not an Andromedan, but had some of the spirit, they said, the gentleness. And they're showing me a picture of them, and they can be very humanoid, like your facial structure, actually like a ballet dancer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's sound frequency that helps you connect to them. You can do the sound of your own voice, pulling it up into the mask area of your face.
Okay.
And it's like when you inhale, doing that, and then finding songs that are kind of in your upper register, like they're singing Girls Just Want to Have Fun, like Cyndi Lauper, up there. Okay. Like in the nasal, because they're fun like that. And that's a higher frequency, very much like angels. They resonate pretty much the same. So when you're very dance-like and fun, and also you're using that upper part of your range, that's going to call them in like a phone call.
That's so interesting. Just to share a little something, when I was speaking to my grandmother about this, she's on the other side. She gave me something and I could not figure it out. She gave me Randa and I couldn't figure out what that was. She kept saying Randa. I was like, okay, because I was telling her about this experience and this was her response to it. And the other thing that stands out is the dancing. I love to dance. That's what I do for my own self-care. I'm a therapist. And so in between sessions, that's how I kind of take care of myself. There's a lot of movement. Yes.
Yeah. Move it through your body.
Mm-hmm. So this was very helpful. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I think you're going to be moving even more somatic work into your client work, but in your own way, and calling it something that's yours. And I see a little like TM by it. So I don't know if that's something you'll actually do, or like the angels might be being funny there, but it is something that you are going to market and make your own and publish.
Yes.
Download it from your ancestors. Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for your help. I appreciate you both.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thanks, Marcella. So Rachel, I had a question as I was listening to you chat with Marcella. Do you think it's possible that in the afterlife, or when we pass, maybe our consciousness could go to another planet? Maybe we could go to Andromeda or Pleiadian, one of those other galaxies.
Hell yes. And to get even weirder about that, I believe that it's possible that there's versions of us there right now, that we are multidimensional beings, and that when we dream and have these really kooky dreams, those aren't always dreams. We're having experiences in other dimensions. And that when I work with quantum physicists who are trying to figure that out in their mathy brain, which I don't have, I get to help them with the spiritual part. And when I can see the upside vision, I'll say, okay, show me that formula. I'll give it to the angels and they'll animate it, and I'll draw it and say, okay, this is what it looks like from my perspective. So they're finding formulas for that stuff.
Wow. That's amazing. I mean, I've often thought that deja vu is kind of a glimpse of the future, or of a kind of a slip in the time-space continuum, if you will. Like you get a glimpse of something. Oh, I've felt this before. I've done this before.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the case.
It is.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, we're going to go to one more participant, and I'm really interested to see what happens with Michelle, because the previous two, everybody has been so different. One kind of a afterlife, then the other with a little extraterrestrial a message there. So Michelle, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
How can we help?
Well, I've had a lot of little things happen lately, like pencils rolling across the table, or
Mm.
somebody saying my name and I wake up in the night, or I get really strong smells of chocolate or cigarettes. I thought a hand was over my hand the other day and I jerked it away because it freaked me out a little bit. But I don't know who's trying to tell me what.
Who's passed recently?
Um, my father, but that's probably been 8 years, 9 years. It's the last.
Okay. Doesn't feel like him. Okay, let me do a little checking here. I want to see it might be related to your house. Because all land is pretty old land. And it looks like something's being built around you, like a mile away. What is that? A school being built or something?
Oh, everything's being built around here. It is just booming.
But okay, thank you. What's the
I'm sorry.
big, you're doing great. What's the big building without a full basement? They broke into the ground and it really looks like a school building, but it's not going to have.
They're redoing the roads,
It's a building.
expanding them. That's the only big thing that's going on around me.
Did a church redo itself or something?
There is a church by there.
Okay. So there's a church and then the road is being dug up.
Yes.
How close are you to that?
1 or 2 blocks.
Okay. Let me make sure I'm in the right place.
Okay.
Angels, can you give me a bird's eye view of that? And then let me see with my dowsing rods. Am I seeing that right? Okay. And then connect me with the spirits that are walking around. And then, honey, are you a teacher?
I used to work in the school system. I'm a
Okay.
receptionist.
Okay, because there's also something about you being kind of like a chameleon that you can match anybody and make people feel safe. Here's what seems to be going on. When that land was broken, it disturbed some, if we think of the land having clay in it and particles of wood from all the years it's been there, and also pieces of jewelry, pieces of paper, even if it's disintegrated, that land holds all that history. And you might do some searching into what's happened on that land because there's a few people walking around that have different time periods of clothes. Indigenous, a little bit, not much, but there's a woman, and he looks like he's about 13 or 14 years old, a boy with her. And then he's carrying what I think might be his little brother or sister for her. They're walking around, which tells me there's a burial ground there or something that was disturbed. They don't seem upset. And I don't think you're smelling them, but they are around. They might be waking you up. Then I see someone that's from more 1920s, definitely smoking cigarettes without a filter, as if he's been working outside, coming in to drink a cup of coffee and a smoke. And he has some history there when he had a farmhouse, way before your house was there. And then the chocolate, that might be someone in your family, actually, coming in to have fun in the kitchen. Yeah, none of this feels negative. It feels busy. And when I asked your angels why it's around you, they said, well, it's really around everyone because this land is it's just been disturbed. It'll go quiet again when it gets all packed down. Okay. But certain people are more sensitive to it, like you, because you always have your heart and mind open to, okay, is everybody okay in here? Who needs me? And so what you get to see during this or experience, if you want, is the coming online of your spiritual gift of smelling, clairgustance, clairaudience, hearing, clairvoyance, seeing in your mind's eye in the room, claircognizance, just knowing because you know. These things can come online for you because you have several at once going on. And what they want you to know is you're absolutely safe. So your family on the other side, I also see them around talking to these, they're ghosts, but none of them seem like they need crossed over. I'm going to check on that after the call to make sure. But your family, they're walking around all crossed over, just talking to them and making sure that, I think they're saying they don't need anything and there's no harm coming your way. So if you're noticing all these spirits and you just say, oh, I don't really like to be touched, thank you, they won't.
Okay.
But they're around to help you. Like, oh, I feel somebody in the room. Hey, I feel you. I don't want to. This is my bedroom. Put your boundaries up. That's what this is about.
Okay.
Because your boundaries with people, living people, have gotten really good. Now you get to move it to spirit.
Okay.
It's what your angels are saying.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And know this when it happens another time when somebody's remodeling around you. You go on a vacation in the hotel, they're doing construction. You know what this feels like now. So you can just say when you go in your room, okay, angels, family on the other side, I want to sleep well, clear the room. And if it feels comfortable to you, you can say, put in God's light.
Okay.
Wash this in God's light. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, my love. You got
Thank
this.
you. Thanks.
Yeah.
Have a nice evening, y'all.
It's so interesting to hear Michelle's experience because I've had similar experiences when I was younger. And now, especially with, I never knew the word for it. I would call it clairsmell-o-vision or smelliance, but it's called clairgustiance. And so whenever I think of my grandmother, I smell the particular perfume that she would wear. And back when I was younger, growing up in our old house, I had similar experiences like Michelle was describing, where one time I was sleeping and I felt someone touch my face like this, and it woke me up and I looked around, there was nobody there. And I've heard, like a whisper in my ear, just calling my name. Yeah. And then I'd wake up and I wouldn't hear anything. And I would think I was dreaming, and that kind of, I think, sparked my interest in, the paranormal and asking those kind of questions and what happens after life after death and things like that. So I've always had that interest from those experiences when I was younger. And I haven't had anything that, distinctive, but I do still sometimes get the smells and definitely experience the clairsentience myself. So it's interesting to hear other people that have had similar experiences like that.
Yeah. And isn't it cool that we get to talk about them now?
Yeah, openly, especially here is a safe place.
Yeah.
At mindbodyspirit.fm, all of our hosts and with you especially, people feel safe. So we can share those kinds of experiences and not be afraid of it. And maybe, when I was younger, I must have pushed those things down or just discounted what was happening,
Yeah, I had a lot of years where I did that too. And I have to say that that's probably the thing I love about doing the podcast the most, is that I can offer my story or someone else's story or their wisdom, and people can put their headphones in and listen, and they have that privacy. They have that autonomy to grow at their own pace, and nobody's watching them saying, hey, what are you doing? That's not okay. And then they can share it with somebody and say, hey, this was really meaningful to me. I want to share it with you. And it's such a gentle way to grow that many of us didn't have growing up. Maybe because it was just a small environment, or we didn't have that support, or we chose to be born into a religious environment. So many reasons.
Yes, no, that's true. I mean, in the religious tradition I grew up in, it certainly wasn't talked about. I mean, there was no real belief in reincarnation or anything like that. Life after death was just, you went to heaven and that kind of thing. Like very Christian based, right? If you were good, that's true. You had to be good, and there were angels involved. So there was that kind of information, but I didn't really have anyone I could talk to about some of the other things I was experiencing. So I just kind of kept it to myself.
Yeah, so I'm glad that we get to be the big sisters, the aunties, the moms, the
We're,
grandmas,
we're out there.
however they see us to
The
help.
experiencers. Yeah. So if
Yeah.
people are out there watching or listening, maybe listening to this later, if you've had some experiences, don't discount them,
Right.
do a little research or dig into it. So you did mention, you have talked about these things on the podcast, and you've gone in so many different directions on the podcast and shared this information with people. So what do you have coming up that you'd like to share that you're working on that maybe people can keep their eye out for future episodes?
Well, season 3 opens on September 6th. I'm pretty excited about season 3 because I haven't put any episodes out in a long time. And really, I wanted to wait till I had something really important to channel and something important to say. And now that there's so much being disclosed, and it's lining up with what I've been shown my whole life, that I've been talking to Sarai, who is I consider them family, but they're a group of extraterrestrials. And of course, the galactic councils, and I can share that in this safe space. The angels, my ancestors, the whole shebang, Jesus, Buddha, all my peeps. I get to ask them, okay, what does this mean? Is this real? What are we going to do with this? Is this really going to happen? And I'm really excited to share what they have to say about all those things, because it's not me sharing what I think, it's what they have downloaded to me. And then to ask other people, hey, what are you getting? Can you be on the show and talk about what you're getting? That feels really meaningful right now, because we don't have to tell each other what to believe. It's not that, but it's like, hey, here's another idea. Here's what I'm getting. What are you getting? And that feels very like we are recording history, is what it feels like. And it's playful. None of it is fear driven. It's playful. It's asking more questions, and it's leaving us with more questions. We don't have to know exactly what's going on, but we can keep talking about it. So I'm excited about season 3 because it's a lot of that.
Yeah. And I think especially now where everything seems to be changing so rapidly,
Mhm.
it's we have whiplash every day. There's a new piece of news. Now
Yes.
we're dealing with AI, and what are we going to do with that? And, some
Yeah.
people are really against it. Other people are embracing it.
Yes.
And
So what I get to do, Diane, is I'll go in the middle and I'll remote view it. Then I'll talk about it. Then I'll have an expert that'll say, okay, well, this is what I saw. I mean, I can be the expert too, but that gets boring if it's just me every week. So I'm pulling in other people too.
and you want to bounce ideas off other people, right? And get information from them.
For
So
sure.
then that's more fun. It's more fun for you as well.
For sure.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to this next season, and I hope people will go and catch up on the past episodes that they
Mhm.
may have missed. You can always go to the website, mybodyspirit.fm, or any favorite podcast app. We are out there. Rachel is on all of them. So you can follow. Oh, and also get our mobile app. I have to mention that we do have a free mobile app, mybodyspirit.fm, available for Apple or Android. And also follow us wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at mindbodyspirit.fm, where you can see all of our psychics, mediums, and mystics episodes. And make sure, if you'd like to join us, that you do send that email, info@mindbodyspirit.fm. And I want to thank you, Rachel, for sharing your gifts with us and with everybody today.
My
And
pleasure.
thanks for joining us on Psychics, Mediums, and Mystics, part of the mindbodyspirit.fm podcast network.